Good morning, CityKids, and welcome back to CityKids Live. Now, this week, I have not one special visitor, but I have two special visitors. Please welcome my good friends, Miss Gina and Miss Marisa.
Hi, everyone.
We are so excited to be here today.
I heard that we're learning the Lord's Prayer.
Let's all stand up and sing our worship song together. Last week in CityKids Live, we learned that we don't need to worry because God is looking out for us. And when we do worry, we should pray. So let's start by learning the fifth verse in the Lord's Prayer, which is Matthew 6:13. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. I think we should all say that together. Will you help me?
Absolutely.
Ready? Matthew 6:13. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. So in this verse, we're recognizing that we're weak, and without God's grace, we're unable to stand up to temptation. When we pray, we're showing our dependence on God.
Did you know that Jesus was tempted in every single way that you and I are? And yet he never did anything wrong. He was absolutely perfect. Isn't that amazing, Miss Gina? So what that means for you and me is that Jesus understands our weaknesses and knows everything that we're going through. So that's why I love this verse. Let's practice it again.
Matthew 6:13. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil.
Wow, it's raining really hard out today. Miss Gina, you look really nervous today. Are you feeling okay?
Well, this morning when I was getting ready, the Weather Channel was on, and the meteorologist said that there was going to be a really big storm coming.
Oh, no.
And I don't know if you remember this about me, but one of my greatest fears are big thunderstorms. So I'm just going to sit here until it's over.
Okay.
But I did come prepared. You want to see what I brought?
Sure.
Okay, so first I brought a candlestick, just in case we lose power.
Good idea.
And I brought a can of beans because my other greatest fear is running out of food. Am I right?
Me too.
And I brought my teddy bear to keep me safe. Sometimes I pretend that Mr. Teddy has the power to calm the storm with just one word.
Hey, Miss Gina, that reminds me about a story that I heard in church.
Huh?
I think it was about a man who was sleeping on a boat during a really big storm, and then he was woken up by his friends, I think, because they were scared too.
I want to hear that story.
The captain of the storm. The sun was going down. The air was warm and still. "Let's go across the lake," Jesus said to his friends. Jesus had been helping people all day, and now he was tired. So they left the crowds at the shore and set out in a small fishing boat. Jesus climbed into the boat to take a nap. As soon as his head touched the pillow, he fell fast asleep. It was a beautiful evening. A gentle breeze rustled the sails. The friends were chatting happily as they headed out into the middle of the lake. Everything was perfect, just right for a nice, quiet sail. They were only about halfway across when, out of nowhere, whirling winds swept across the lake, fierce and strong like a hurricane. A blinding flash of lightning lit up the sky. Thunder roared right overhead. The storm blew the water into towering waves that hurled the little boat up, 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 and then sent it hurtling, crashing back down, down, down. The fishing boat was blown and buffeted and tossed and turned, back and forth, up and down, left and right, round and round. And in the middle of the storm, Jesus was sleeping. Now, Jesus' friends had been fishermen all their lives, but in all their years fishing on this lake, they had never once seen a storm like this one. No matter how hard they struggled with their ropes and sails, they couldn't control their boat. This storm was too big for them. But the storm wasn't too big for Jesus. "Help!" they screamed. "Wake up! Quick, Jesus!" Jesus opened his eyes. "Rescue us! Save us!" they shrieked. "Don't you care?" Of course Jesus cared. And this was the very reason he had come, to rescue them and to save them. Jesus stood up and spoke to the storm. "Hush," he said. That's all. And the strangest thing happened. The wind and the waves recognized Jesus' voice. Well, they had heard it before, of course. It was the same voice that made them in the very beginning. They listened to Jesus, and they did what he said. Immediately the wind stopped, the water calmed down. It glittered innocently in the moonlight and lapped quietly against the side of the boat as if nothing had happened. The little boat bobbed gently up and down. There was a deep stillness and a great quiet all around. Then Jesus turned to his wind-torn friends. "Why were you scared?" he asked. "Did you forget who I am? Did you believe your fears instead of me?" Jesus' friends were quiet as the wind and the waves, and into their hearts came a different kind of storm. What kind of man is this? They asked themselves anxiously. Even the winds and the waves obey him, they said, because they didn't understand. They didn't realize yet that Jesus was the Son of God. Jesus' friends had been so afraid they had only seen the big waves. They had forgotten that if Jesus was with them, then they had nothing to be afraid of, no matter how small their boat or how big the storm.
Isn't that amazing, Miss Gina? Jesus was able to calm the storm with just his words.
It really is. The disciples were so afraid their boat would sink, but they didn't need to be afraid at all because Jesus was with them. Here, I thought my teddy bear could calm the storm with just one word, but Jesus really can. Miss Marisa, is Jesus with me when I'm afraid?
Of course he is, Miss Gina. Just like Jesus was with the disciples, he's with you and me and all of us when we're afraid. And he's not only with you, but he has power over the wind and the waves. Jesus can do things that we could never do. He has all power over sickness and death and storms and even nature.
Wow. I love how in the story the disciples asked Jesus, "Why aren't you afraid? Don't you see that we're in danger?" Well, they didn't understand that they didn't need to be afraid because Jesus had everything under control. But a better question to ask would have been, why weren't the disciples afraid? Don't they know that they're with Jesus? But the thing is that the disciples were still learning to trust Jesus. They were still learning to have faith that he was looking after them. I just learned today that when a big storm comes, it's okay because Jesus is looking after me and he is with me.
Yes, Jesus has been watching over you since the day you were born, and over me and all of us. And he will continue to watch over us day and night for the rest of our lives. City Kids, what scares you? What is it that makes you afraid? I want to tell you today that no matter what those fears are, you can trust those fears over to Jesus because he loves you so much and he's always watching out for you and he wants your best. Surrender those fears and your heart to Jesus and get to know the one who can protect you.
Let's all stand and worship our God together.
We loved being with you today.
Thanks for having us.
We hope to see you all soon.
Bye.
Bye.